crazy ass bitch. I remember you slapping me around when I was a kid and pulling my hair. Oh, I see that Jason is on the stream. That is really good. He's doing something constructive with your time. Babies being left in cars. What was God thinking when he had his own son nailed to a piece of wood? Penile implants. The Ozempic Barbie was going to have a sagging face and jellyfish-like body. Your vagina can't be happy with this flex foam stuff because it can't breathe. Older women's coochie curtains are shrinking. And it's causing panic and confusion. A uterus can smell sperm. How they came to this conclusion, I don't know. Although I think one of them did have a pet uterus. I didn't pass the oral test. Instead, I went to Anal Roberts. Lawyers, wink wink, got me off of that. People throwing their kids out the window and everything. I know it's Christmas and now I gotta carry these bags around like some sort of delivery boy from the 30s, and the bags break and everything falls out of them. Oh, now I can tell you without screaming at you that I love you. There must be versions, but if they are totally covered, how do they know that? Then they say that the sun is going to burn out in 2 billion years. I wish they would make up their mind. I'm trying to plan my next vacation. Would you mind if I smell you and see if you smell different than when you're not stressed? I put it in my pants, figuring what could be warmer or moister. His face, his spine, everything is deformed for life. But he got 3,000 views on Instagram. He puts rubbing alcohol on her legs and sets them on fire. But he had a good reason for that. A guy cut off his genitalia and set it on fire, and it caused a huge blaze in his neighbor's garage. So maybe that was a social media challenge. And they're all out there still playing chess. So now I'm wondering, how do I get the chestnuts out of my foyer? Tiger Woods gets arrested once again for being drunk and being on prescription drugs because it's okay. A doctor prescribed it to me. That's what everybody said. That's what Elvis said. Look, I got out of bed this morning. Wow. Look, I cooked a piece of fish. Then he goes, okay, wise ass, how come you're going so fast? I said, because I had my foot like all the way down on the gas pedal. And I also wonder about the Food Network. Everybody's going to be a gourmet chef. These gourmet chefs throw a bunch of crap together and say, you're going to like this. That's just crap. People, oh, wow, I got to try that. Yeah, right. So now they came out with a new device called Crustastun, which means that they will stun the lobsters so they don't feel so much pain before they put them in boiling water. Or maybe you could overdose them on fentanyl, and then what kind of a lobster tail are you gonna get? Anyway, I got to the guy's house and he said, what the hell is going on here? I said, what, do you have a mouse problem? So I see these mouse traps all over the place. And they have IOUs in them. And he says, what do you think? I can afford real cheese? Haven't you heard about the economy, stupid?
And now, Gob It Up for the comedy stylings of the Goblin Lord.
Everybody drinking and taking enough drugs? Well, first things first. Let me get this boner out of my pants. All right. I think I'm going to have to give him that new drug that's a combination of Viagra and cyanide, so you can die hard. That's actually a good drug for necrophiliacs. And I see that Veronica was wanting a Frosty, probably a Frosty Jim, I would think. Something that will fill her annals of history. So, and I see that she took Owl in. I wonder if she fit. And yes, Veronica, there is still crack in the tent, butt cracks. So, I'd like to give a shout out. Well, I can't give a shout out to everybody, but certainly to Fozzie, who appreciates a good Chinese cataract joke. Owl, Joy, why, I don't even think she's on here. And of course, Leah, the Tennessee Temptress. Of course, Code Dependent, one of our favorite supporters, and the mysterious Cackle 60, who shows up every now and then. So, and also, especially, I saw to Judgment Very Zone. On the last broadcast, I saw her. I think it was her, and it went by kind of quick, saying, does anybody remember Locker Room? That's kind of a far reach, but I remember it. It was basically amyl nitrate, and it would dilate your veins or arteries. I'm not sure. I still don't know what the hell the difference is. So, you would buy it in a little plastic bottle with a red lightning bolt on it. And you would inhale it, and you would really feel just nuts. I was driving once and I did that, and I had a bottle of scotch in the car and also turned right in front of a truck. The truck broadsides me and I flew out the window. And even with the smell of alcohol and me being apparently high, I didn't get any tickets, nothing happened. The cops actually drove me to one of my friend's house. I had amnesia from a blow to the head. And so now I see they have a phone out called Gab to protect your children from the mean, evil internet. So they can't have access to any porn sites, or they can't have any predators preying on them. But all they have to do is turn on the nightly news. And now you'll see that this guy Epstein has a tallywhacker shaped like an egg, and it's really small. So The kid says, calls up the grandmother, "Hey, Grandma, I just watched the news." "Oh, that's so great. You're trying to keep up and be educated." "Yeah, I just found out that this guy Epstein has an egg-shaped, small, dangle." Then the kid goes and puts on South Park. "Oh, I'm gonna watch a cartoon now." "Oh, it has, I guess our beloved or hated president having sex with Satan, and so we gotta protect the children and give them a phone that they can't have access to the internet. Just talk to people." And there seems to be a lot of obsession with people's genitalia lately, like making fun of the size of a man's his tallywhacker. That's like such an old joke. I mean, it's like you're ugly and your mother dresses you funny. How come it's always about men? How come it's an insult? It's a insult to women if you say, "Oh, you're so big down there." I'm not sure how that works out. And now, also I see an ad, 60% of women leak. Well, I figure I'm kind of an amateur plumber. So I went around and started asking women, "Would you happen to have a leak that needs to be fixed?" I stuck my finger in a dike once and it kind of solved the problem. So the first woman I asked that to hauled off and punched me. I said, maybe it was just one freak thing. So I went around and went to another woman and said the same thing. I got punched again. So I think maybe this isn't such a good idea. But then I saw an ad. I love TV ads. I like them better than the programming that's on. Like the new show, DMV. What the hell is that about? A bunch of people waiting in line for 3 hours and getting really pissed off because the idiot at the front doesn't know what they're doing, and the person behind the counter doesn't know what they're doing. So I'm not sure where that, and Jack and Mindy are somebody's first wedding. Well, what the hell is that going to be about? About people getting drunk and beating each other up? Well, I might watch that, actually, but I still like the ads better. So now I see an ad for stress sweat is different from regular sweat. So now I figure I'll go up to some women and say, "Are you stressed? Would you mind if I smell you and see if you smell different than when you're not stressed?" So once again, all I do is get slapped or punched. So I figure I better move on from that. Now I see ad for a new antidepressant. Well, the second newest one. And what is it? Dextromethorphan and Wellbutrin mixed together. Just what we used to be trying to keep kids from drinking. I don't know if anybody remembers the DM, the dextromethorphan hats that kids would be wearing. Oh no, that's so bad. Now, here's an antidepressant that you can take and it'll really make you feel good. It made you feel good before they put it on the drug market legally. And now the number one antidepressant is Spravato, which is a spray liquid ketamine that you spray up your nose. Oh man, I wish I had that stuff when I was a kid. So I remember when all the kids were doing Special K, which we had to stop them from taking. Now you just spray it up your nose. And they're using psilocybin and LSD for mental issues. Yeah, that's going to work out well. Now they have, I saw yet another commercial for Buzz Packs. Now you can get stoned, and you don't even have to drink anymore. You just take some of this crap, and you get high. No drinking anymore. So things are going really well with the mental health issue. And there's a lot of, I see an ad for lonely adults. I wonder why they're lonely. Maybe because they're stupid, maybe because they're ugly, maybe because they have bad breath, maybe they smell bad, I don't know. But not to worry, they have a pill for it. Just like they have a pill for tardive dyskinesia. You take an antidepressant, it's not strong enough, so you need an antidepressant on top of that. And then you start shaking, and you can't hold anything anymore. But not to worry, there's a drug for that. So, and now there seems to be an epidemic of Ozempic face, where if you take all these GLP-1 drugs, you lose all your muscle mass, so you lose the muscle mass in your face. But not to worry, there's a drug for that will restore your muscle. It isn't your heart a muscle? And I think that your wang might be a muscle also, but I'm not sure about that. But anyway, if it was a problem, there's a drug for that. And I see there seems to be, I was making some pizza dough the other day, and it says to keep it in a warm, moist place. So I put it in my pants, figuring what could be warmer or moister. And plus, it made me look bigger down there, because we all have to look big down there to impress women or men, I guess. I don't know. So next thing I know, I get a yeast infection, which I guess is no joke. I'm not being insulted. I know a lot of women. Actually, now there's a side effect for men with all these drugs. No wonder one of the side effects is suicide. So, and now I'm seeing so many people killing their own children. I think Susan Smith, remember her? She put the two kids in the back of the car and shoved it into the lake, and then said two black guys or a black guy held her at gunpoint and carjacked her and took the kids. And it was all big on the news and everything, and they found out that she was lying about everything. And she went to prison, but she apparently had a good sex life in prison. So, anyway, I don't want to get into a post pregnancy type thing. I just read a thing where two people stabbed their 12 and 13-year-olds to death and cut their heads off. So I'm not sure what the hell is going on anymore. Something's going on. And speaking of which, I got a very important news flash on my news stream today. And that is Paul Anka. Anybody remember him? Anybody old enough to remember him? His famous song, probably the worst thing ever recorded and the most hated song in history, Having My Baby, from 1964, 74. Anyway, the newsflash was Paul Anka says it's finally been revealed that Frank Sinatra had a huge wang. So this was very important news, probably the most important news of the day. And it's legit, it came from US Magazine. And that came behind the news that Jenny McCarthy's teeth have all fallen out. I mean, that's very important news. Is she still with Jim Carrey? That could be good for him, I guess. And more news, more important than anything, Kim Kardashian has been revealed to have brain loss. Who would have thought? And she's blaming poor Kanye West dies. But not to worry, their child, Northwest, has her fingers pierced. So we're heading in the right direction with that. And now, as if we didn't have more to worry about, the Bulgarian mystic Baba Vang predicted the end of the world. Well, it was supposed to happen a couple of months ago, but he was wrong about that. But let's not forget, this is supposed to be the worst hurricane season ever. So, wait a minute. Not a single hurricane made landfall in the United States. So, I think the experts were wrong again. What's the difference between an expert and a California psychic? I'm not sure. And now, another prediction, and this is legitimate. It's from NASA. In 250 million years, the Earth is going to be destroyed by massive comets. So we got that to worry about, for the next 250 million years. So, also, I've been seeing a commercial over and over again about an old lady taking a hearing test. And the daughter comes up, and they give her a couple of words like yard and mother and oh, I can hear again. And the woman, the daughter says, oh, now I can tell you without screaming at you that I love you. But the truth of the matter is, the woman, the daughter would probably say, you lazy ass bitch. I remember you slapping me around when I was a kid and pulling my hair and making me get on my hands and knees to do the housework while you sat on your fat ass and did nothing. So, that's become one of my favorite commercials. And now, there's also a commercial for a woman seductively wandering around with a halfly peeled banana. And she doesn't have to worry about the suspicious character looking at her. But now she's implying that her burner banana is going to shoot fireballs 60 feet and disable her assailant. So why is she going around seductively eating a banana? I don't know. And they're saying that the banana is going to shoot fireballs. And at the end of the commercial, she eats the banana. So I don't even know what the hell is going on anymore. And now there's a new viral challenge where you stick a high-pressure air hose up somebody's ass and turn it on. And I've heard of a couple of incidences where this obviously did not go too well. But I'm sure we'll come up with something better or something stupider. And now, there's also the commercial for, well, everybody needs a new bathroom these days. All you're doing is taking a dump and taking a shower. What are you having guests while you're doing this? They're going, oh, we're going to have subway tiles. Yeah, what is it? Subway tiles will come with a homeless bum and a stench of piss. Who will beg for money while you're taking a dump and insult you if you don't give them any money. And now that I've become a digital creator, after putting a picture of my cat on the internet, I have been doing these Sora AI things. And I tried to put one on the other day with a kid asking his mother, "Mama, do you love me?" And the mother says, "Of course I do, but I wish you were more like your cousin Irving." And the kid says, "Why is that?" And the mother says, "Because she was a miscarriage." Sora wouldn't let me put that on, so I have to tell it to you verbally. A dog. So, when I was going to school in the dung hole, I had a semi-pro football experience where I was on the dung hole Packers. They were the Fudge Packers, actually. And they wanted me to be a tight end. But I was not real sure about that, but I gave it a try, and I didn't like it. It was sort of like getting a prostate exam. And now, I've been going around in the spirit of Christmas. I've been going around to psych wards. But now they won't let me play there anymore because I kept playing Do You Hear What I Hear? You might want to think about that on your drive home. And now, I've been watching on Tubi. All of a sudden, they have shows about, one show is called Sticky, which, well, I guess I can say it's about masturbating. And then there's a show called Boobs. We know what that's about. A show called Farts. And these are documentaries. And a show called Dicks. I thought it was going to be about the sporting goods store, but apparently not. And just for some information, which I found out from this show, do you know that a mallard duck, his dick is in the shape of a corkscrew? You can bring that up at your Christmas dinner. Excuse me, I have a runny nose. So anyway, here we're going to have a charity event on the 12th. So, hope everybody is here for that. When I was in school, I had a teacher who said, "If anybody in this room thinks they're dumb, raise your hand." So I raised my hand, and the teacher said, "Come to the front of the room. Now, son, why do you think you're dumb?" I say, "I don't think I'm dumb. I just didn't want to be the only dumb person in the room, teacher." So, and now, getting to mental health, they have a thing called buzz packs. This seems to be the new trend. You can take this stuff, put these drops into any liquid, and you get high. You don't have to drink alcohol anymore. So now you can drive around drunk, and probably, I'm not sure how it would work out with the breathalyzer test, but I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet. And to enhance your mental health, now they have mushroom gummies and LSD gummies. It's going to really make everybody's mental health a lot better. I took mushrooms once, I'm really hating it. But I would know who to call in an emergency. You know, when you go to fill out a job application, who do you want to call in an emergency? I put down a doctor. The hell else are you going to call? Today is a kind of important day down in the dung hole. We have been worshiping our crocodile god, Sobek. So after we worshipped him, I killed him and made some yellow alligator shoes. Crocodile shoes out of them. So first things first, this boner's gotta go. Either I'm getting fatter or he's getting thicker. All right. So, first of all, I'd like to give a couple of shout outs to people. First of all, to Lee, the creator of Carnal Confusion. I see a lot of people now. I don't know if they're imitating Leah or I don't know what the hell they're doing. I think on Snapchat everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. But in my humble goblin opinion, there's only one Leah. She really knows how to work a crowd. And so, going on, I'd like to give a shout out to Owl. I hope she's having a very gritty day. Demon Whore, of course, Vegas. And everybody else out there, my followers. So, when I was coming down here, I got picked up for speeding. The cop says to me, you know how fast you were going? I said, I don't know, you're the guy with the radar. So that didn't work out too well. And then he goes, okay, wise ass, how come you're going so fast? I said, because I had my foot like all the way down on the gas pedal. And so now it sort of made me reminisce about my first driving test. I only had 3 or 4 of them, I can't remember. But that would be the last time anybody ever drives like that. Put on your seatbelt. Adjust your mirrors, look left and right. And back in my day, to show you how old I am, you used to have to use hand signals. Now the only thing I use my hand for is, well, I couldn't say that on the show. So now instead of they should have a realistic driving test. Teach you how to drive holding a beer under, so the cops can't see it when they drive by. And they teach a woman how to put lipstick on while you're driving. And I think I found this weird thing on the steering column. I think it's called a signal of some sort, where you go like this, and it tells you you're gonna like turn or something. I don't know. And now anybody can rent like a 24-foot truck, even though they can't drive a Toyota. That's no problem, like an old blind guy. Or sometimes I see some of these little old people, they're so small you can't even see over you can't even see their head over the steering wheel. And then you have these old people driving RVs the size of a huge bus. That's okay. You don't need a CDL for that. But there seems to be an issue with that now with people who can't speak English. I don't want to get into that. And they can't read street sign, so there seems to be a rash of people crashing into stuff. You used to feel safe driving around the truck driver. Now it's a good guess that your chances are about 50-50. And to bring in the Christmas season, there's too much stuff I can't say on the show with my sardonic sense of humor. But I'm probably at some point going to make a CD of what I really think about things. And I'm not talking about politics. That's way too easy. Just like that South Park show. All of a sudden they have different political characters. Oh, it's so hard to make fun of. Oh, they're so funny. Oh, not in my mind. Sorry if I'm offending anybody. I don't like it. And I've watched South Park from day one. So, anyway, some guy who has a woman autistic roommate, she wets the bed, so he pours boiling water on her over and over. And then, to make things a little better, he puts rubbing alcohol on her legs and sets them on fire. But he had a good reason for that. He wanted to be sitting in front of a crackling Yule log. And so also with the Christmas season coming in and the really bad weather, they say you should go around and check on neighbors who might be needy or see if they need anything. So I went next door to my 90-year-old neighbor, a very nice lady. I said, are you going to the store or do you need anything? And she says, oh, as a matter of fact, I do. I said, good, here's my list. Pick this stuff up for me. And now, in Australia, they no more internet for kids. Are they kids, people, men, women? I don't know what the hell they are, but they're Australian. And they can't have any internet until they reach the age of 16. Because once they hit 16, they're going to have much more reasoning abilities. If you think back to when you were 16, or I think back when I was 16, that was the most ridiculous, dangerous, unreasonable time of my life. I spent most of my high school days in detention. I would steal my parents' car and drive to school and pick people up and we go and drink and do drugs. But maybe that'll work out for them. Oh yeah, it's really easy to keep kids off the internet. Just like when you go to a porn site, not that I ever did, and it says, are you over the age of 18? Click, yes, I'm in. So now I see that they have weight loss drops. No more injections, no more pills. You just drop these things into water and you're gonna look like a heroin addict. And so now, I imagine with all these medications they have on the market, they have NyQuil, Dayquil, Z-Quil, Painquil. I actually like mixing the Z-Quil, I think it's red, mix it in with some vodka and some buzz drops, and you got yourself a great drink. Throw in the weight loss drugs, you got everything going for you. And now, as if you thought you were safe from everything, turns out your granite countertops are giving you a new disease called silicosis. Of course it takes 14 years to develop, but still, I mean, just like, I think are we over the global warming crisis? I'm not sure. But I did try to do something about it. I turned my air conditioner around so that the cool air blew out and the hot air came in. So I thought that would really help things along. Apparently it did. I mean, it's been really, really cold. I don't know about where everybody else is, but around here it's freaking freezing. And so I also just found out that there are 100 billion new tons of ice in the Arctic. I guess that would be arguable. I don't know. I don't like to argue about global warming or whatever they call it now. And so I'm also wondering about, I was reminiscing and I heard the song by Aretha Franklin, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. I'm wondering what that is these days. I mean, at one point I heard that Beyonce was singing flat, but now that she had boob transplants, she's singing a lot better. So back in the 60s and 70s, which I firmly remember because I lived through it, I guess a natural woman was a woman with unshaved armpits, hairy legs, no wig, no gigantic eyelashes, which, if you find your girlfriend or whatever asleep wearing these things, you can tear them off and use them as a fake mustache. So nowadays, a natural woman to me, I guess, is somebody with boob implants, a Brazilian butt lift, the gigantic eyelashes, wigs, all these cosmetics. And we used to laugh at geishas. Oh, look at these stupid Japanese women. Oh, boy, yeah. They look like idiots with all this makeup and they're being, made fun of. So anyway, and I also now just discovered a new thing called sploshing, which I had to look it up. And it means having sex while you're in something wet. I thought that was just what natural sex was. I wasn't sure about that. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, just Gromulus the souse. The children all hid under their beds, trembling in fear, hoping Grommy was dead. Outside the house, they heard a loud clatter and ran outside to see what was the matter. Grom was drunk as hell and fell off his ladder. He pulled out his gun, and the kids started to scatter. He got to his feet, and as he limped out of sight, yelled, I stole all your gifts. Haven't you heard about the economy, stupid? All right. First of all, I would like to wish a belated birthday to the damsel of dark desires. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. And also a shout out to Joy, of course, Vegas, and Mr. Boombody, and everybody out there who appreciated my Christmas greeting and who returned a greeting. Back when I was a kid, we used to have a Christmas card contest. And of course, I never won it. But this year set a new record. I got 0. So anyway, I did get a few good gifts. Oh, and by the way, a shout out to, I see the mysterious Cackle 60. So, Merry Gobmas to you and your family. So, a little more Christmas humor. some really old Christmas humor. When I came home the other day, there were a bunch of people playing chess in my living room. So what the hell are you doing here? Get the hell out of here. So they all went out into the hallway. And a few minutes later, I looked out there, and they're all out there still playing chess. So now I'm wondering, how do I get the chestnuts out of my foyer? I don't know how many people out there are even old enough to know what the hell a foyer is, but good luck if you do. And now there's also, in the spirit of Christmas, a spirit of peace. There have not been any drive-by shootings today, but plenty of drive-by fa-la-las. And I also got a couple of good gifts. I got a popcorn de-popper, where you put in a bunch of popcorn, and 10 minutes later, you pull out an ear of corn. I also got a good product called Mr. Coffin, where you could put a deceased pet, or maybe even some roadkill, into the smaller model, and you put boiling water into the top, and you get yourself a good cup of coffee. Or, if you buy the large size, you can put a deceased or murdered person into the device and pour boiling water over it, which actually some people do that without the Mr. Coffin. And you would have another good cup of coffee. I guess you could flavor it too. And I hope everybody had a good Christmas dinner. I don't know if you had turkey, which I don't know where people came up with the idea of grinding up a bunch of crap and stuffing it into some dead animal's ass. I'm not sure how that works out. And also, I guess some people may have had a ham. I had sex with a ham once, but it's just because she was overacting in the Christmas Carol. But is this old Christmas humor doing anything for you? So now at dinner, Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, or any dinner, now, thanks to the past election, people hate each other so much, they don't have to go to dinner with their relatives. You don't have to see your stinky, drunken uncle anymore, or your smelly old grandmother, and you don't have to eat all this crap that they put on the table. But anyway, it worked out for the best. Everybody's pissed off at each other. Now you have to have a smaller crowd at your dinner table. And I'm not going to spread the sad news of people throwing their kids out the window and everything. I know it's Christmas, and so I'm going to bypass that for now. Maybe on the New Year's Eve show I can get into that more. And now, I just saw something that's very important in the news. It might be more important than the Jake Paul fight, which never seems to go away from the news. I said, it says that women judge each other by their vulvas. I am not really sure how that works out. If everybody goes around looking at vulvas, maybe they meant Volvos. I don't know. I had a Volvo once. It wasn't a very good car, but I guess it was kind of safe. So now there's a big increase in vulvarectomy, not ectomies, plastic surgery. So you got to get rid of those big meat curtains. And now you can go around and show it to other women, and that's how they'll judge you. And now, did anybody ever see, well, not that I've ever been to a strip club. I have been, but only to do investigative reporting. But, did you ever see, I see a difference in the way women are at, like, male strip clubs. They're all excited, and they're all friends, and having a good time, drinking and throwing money at these guys. And then you go to a strip club for men, and they're all very, like, protective of the strippers. I actually used to drive people to these clubs. I never went inside one. But these guys are always like, she's talking to me. She loves me. What the hell are you doing looking at her? I'm going to kick your ass. And actually, I've seen it happen a few times where these guys get into fights because you're not supposed to talk to any of these women if they're talking to you. So that was something that I observed. And now there seems to be a obsession with genitalia in the news. Another thing that came on my news feed was that there was a new record micro penis. It was measured 7.5 centimeters when stretched. So, I don't want to say that I've stretched mine plenty of times, but I never measured it, so I don't know where I stand in that. And now, I also see these sad ads on TV for Save the Elephants, $19 a month. And then the next commercial is to save mistreated dogs and abandoned dogs for $19 a month, the same thing. So who am I going to give the money to? The elephants? Have you ever seen a seeing eye elephant? Or can an elephant sniff out cancer? Does anybody have a pet elephant? I'm not sure about that. I'm not even sure if you could own one. So what the hell is the point of sending money? I'm sending my money to the dogs. Maybe I'm hooked up to the wrong news stream. I don't know. I got a notice that there is a new trend that I really can't get behind. People are putting things up there. They're putting them up their asses, okay? I said it. I don't know if I should say butt or ass. I don't know. So, the list was huge. People are putting nuts and bolts and screws. Somebody put a full shampoo bottle up there. They said it was there because they slipped while they were in the shower. Somebody put a baseball up there. They said they wanted to see what it feels like. Who doesn't want to see what a baseball feels like up your ass? And an egg. I think that was Richard Gere. But they didn't get into any animal things. But I think he also had a gerbil up there. And to get to the end of the list, I can't get through all of them. A full-size pumpkin-scented Yankee candle. And one to beat that was a guy trying to smuggle drugs. He had a full-size thermos up there. And getting back to shout-outs, I can never forget to shout out to Fozzie and to Joy Evil, who I had an enjoyable encounter with a Norwegian rat the other night, and had to execute it. I shot it quite a few times before I got a good headshot on it. But I don't really like doing stuff like that, but sometimes you gotta kill things that annoy you. And I hope everybody that's out tonight, I hope you have a designated drunk. You know, somebody who can drink and still drive well without getting picked up. And hopefully you also might be the same person, a designated pervert who will tell your wife when she finds a lot of blonde hairs on you that you were out with a German Shepherd. And it also turns out, surprisingly, that the Gen Z generation thinks it's good and it's okay to drive while you're high. So they got that going for them. And once again, getting back to these news streams that I get, which I don't understand why I'm getting them, they now have a amount of times you can be jacking it in order not to get cancer. I don't know how they came up with that or what investigations they did, but the maximum, not the maximum time, the time that's most beneficial is 21 times a month. I already did like 15 and I'm worn out. And now they have a sperm extractor for people who want to donate sperm but don't like to masturbate. I'm not sure how many people out there don't like to. And does this apply to women also? Also, the 21 times a month? I'm not sure about any of this. So, and also, another notice I got was from a sex researcher who says that after you have sex, you should immediately wash and put on breathable underwear. I always went with either smoke a cigarette or a joint and a couple of shots of tequila afterwards. And now also, they are concerned about lobsters being in pain when you boil them, and crabs and shrimps. So now they came out with a new device called Crustastun, which means that they will stun the lobsters so they don't feel so much pain before they put them in boiling water. I kind of thought that they could have a last meal and a cigarette before you put them in. Or maybe you could overdose them on fentanyl, and then what kind of a lobster tail are you going to get? And this joke is for Owl. It's sort of part B of a joke she sent me. I went to a nudist colony a couple of weeks ago, and a friend of mine said, how did that work out? I said the first 3 days were really hard. Also, I was reminiscing about some dates I used to go on, and I had one date who claimed she only brushed her teeth with baking soda. So I said, okay, would you mind going and sitting in my refrigerator for a few days? And, you know, I love these women, so much different than men. I went to her apartment, I said, excuse the way it looks. She said, I think I see some dust on my coffee table. I said, I don't see any dust. And she took her finger and scraped it, and there was a little tiny bit of dust. So next day we went to my place, and she says, wow, what a shithole this place is. Look at all the dirt and all the dust. And she took her finger and rubbed it across the top of my stereo, and dust flew all over the place. I said, now I'm just going to have to replace it. So that's about it for any past dates. And with all the new trends coming up, does anybody remember when people said that drinking piss was good for you? These fads come and go quickly. That didn't work out too well for too long. And now with all the drugs that are around, what happened to the good old days, like with black beauties? The doctor used to give that stuff to my mother. We had the cleanest house in the neighborhood. And biphetamine tea, which was black beauties and quaaludes all in one pill. And people never had the side effects that they have now from drugs. And now we have the phone slots. I see one commercial after another. Woman saying, I don't even know how I'm going to feed my family next week. And so the ad comes on and says, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. This is what you can make by just gambling on your phone. I don't know how that's going to affect Vegas or, well, I guess Atlantic City is kind of dead anyway. And I'm also wondering, why are people singing Auld Lang Syne? Who the hell even knows what that means? Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? That sounds like a good idea. Get rid of all the old friends. Dump them. They're useless. I have a message for you, Groundhog, and you're not gonna like it. If you see your shadow tomorrow, there's going to be a problem. We already have your wife and family in custody. If you see your shadow, we're going to kill them one by one and throw them out in front. It's too friggin' cold here. I mean, geez. It's like living in, I'm sure it's probably warmer in Alaska. It's like living in an igloo here. I'm hibernating. I can't even go out. I went to put out the trash the other day. Not that I'm a big freak for cleanliness, but it had to go. So one of my worthy constituents, Cackle 60, who was on the phone with, said, maybe you shouldn't go out in this weather and all the ice. But I probably should have listened. Because while I was walking back, this is like worse than an ice skating rink. So anyway, I slid and fell on the back of my head. And then it was so slippery, I couldn't even get up. I'm sliding along like some kind of an idiot. I hope none of the neighbors saw me. But I finally did get up. So anyway, Groundhog, kiss my ass. And I see that with the global warming people, it's climate change now. Yeah, the climate changes every day. It changed for the worse now. Anyway, they discovered that in spite of the fact that they said, oh, the poor polar bears are starving to death and they're falling off the ice floes because they're shrinking. Well, now it turns out that the polar bears are fatter than ever, healthier than ever, and have better living conditions. But I think they investigated that on my front lawn, but I'm not sure. Anyway, all these disasters they were predicting with climate change. My waterfront property is still there. I don't know. It's supposed to be underwater by now. And according to some politician in New York, the Earth by 2030 is going to be nothing but a burnt-up cinder flying around in outer space. Maybe that's what those people are doing up there in the International Space Station. And now, tonight, I have to tell you that I appreciate you viewing us instead of the Grammys, of which I have no idea anymore who any of these people are and what the hell a Grammy is. I think Lady Gaga won a Grammy. I think she's like a granny now. I don't know. They just do this stuff to boost up the popularity of the people and make a few record sales, CD sales. I don't know what the hell people listen to anymore. And now, also, we have Blue Bunny is going to be singing at the Super Bowl. Oh, did I say Blue Bunny? Oh, I just realized I was at the supermarket and bought some, I guess it's Bad Bunny, I guess, and he's going to be wearing a dress. Do I care about that? I don't care what the hell he wears. I don't care about football. The last time I saw a football game, I think it was the Super Bowl 1 or 2 or something, when Joe Namath, is he still alive? When he was playing in the game. And at some point he got like $5,000 to shave off half his mustache. I'm not sure about that. And now, also, with all the news feeds that I get, they should make these people take a lie detector test before they broadcast any news. Or make all politicians wear tinfoil clown hats so we can identify them easily. And I was just watching a show on the fire in West Warwick at the club, the station. And now after 100 people die and 200 people got injured, oh, we're praying for them. Wouldn't it have been better if they prayed for them like before it happened or during it happening? I don't know. Anyway, it is Sunday also, and it's supposed to be a day of rest. So I gave my male servants, female servants, and my concubines the day off just to stick with the rules. And getting back to the boomer panic, turns out that old people are afraid of everything now. And that is because of all the devastating news they're getting. So now everybody's afraid of everything. And speaking of old people, to be a nice guy that I am, I went over to my 90-year-old neighbor's house and asked her if she needed anything from the store. And she said, "Why, I do. Thank you for asking." I said, "Well, when you get there, could you bring me back a bottle of tomato juice? I need some from my Bloody Marys." Also on the news, I don't know why I keep getting these new news feeds. Turns out that after a years-long study, women like big, well, I don't like to use any profanity. It's so overplayed now anyway, as are politics and comedy. Is that comedy anymore, where all people do is gripe about the government? And what does that accomplish? It accomplishes nothing. I've lived through 15 presidents and God knows how many crises, and I'm still here, maybe. I'm not sure about that sometimes. But anyway, it turns out that after a years-long study, that women like big wieners. And they extended the study and found out that men are afraid of them. I'm not sure how that works. Maybe it has something to do with the penal system. And in spite of the fact that I did fall yesterday, that I'm in good shape. I feel like a 20-year-old, although I still can't find a 20-year-old that has any interest in me at all. Maybe I should start shooting for the 80 years old. And I wonder if anybody is watching the Grammys. And what's with Bruce Springsteen being some sort of god to, well, I guess I'd have to call them liberals. I don't know. I don't care about politics. The conservative liberals, everybody's complaining about everything and they're accomplishing nothing. And there's nothing they can do about it anyway. But after watching that show on the Station Club fire, Dee Snider had tried to organize a benefit for the survivors, and good old Bruce refused to do it because he didn't want to be associated with the degenerate hair bands. Now people are saying, oh, he did a song about Minnesota, about which I guess I have to have some kind of interest in it because that's all I see on the news. Although every other day there's something big, something gigantic happening on the news. People forget about everything like in a few hours. So, yeah, Bruce is stoking his ego. I have a feeling they might be stoking something else. I didn't hear him sing any songs, and I don't want to get into this, about some woman that got stabbed on the Chicago light rail system. He never sang a song about her. Or some woman walking her dog that got stabbed to death for no reason. And I remember good old Bruce when he was doing a show in Jersey before he was anybody. I think it was in 1978, and I have a tape of it. He said, okay, all you bootleggers out there in Radio Land, get your tapes rolling. And so now, so far as I know, there's only two people who are prosecuting bootleggers, and that was Bruce Springsteen and poor old Billy Joel. Where did I get this suit? All my suits are made in China by child labor. And they're all better made than anything else I've got. So, for the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, I took my machine gun and tried to hunt down 7 people that I really hate. Unfortunately, most of them died of natural causes. I never hold a grudge until I get even. So, it is also, I think we have President's Day coming up. I'm sure everybody has a favorite president from whatever era they were raised in. My favorite president is William Harrison, who was the first president to die in office. in a little more than a month. He, in his inaugural speech said, ask what the country can do for you. And, wow, it's really cold out here. Wow, I really am starting to feel sick. So a month later, he died of pneumonia, supposedly. Still, it's better celebrating President's Day and the St. Valentine's Day massacre than having to spend $200 on dinner for some woman. Or maybe it's your wife, maybe it's your girlfriend, or maybe giving her a $1,200 necklace or something and hoping you might get, well, you know. At least you probably wouldn't have to beg for it on this one day. So, now what is the story now? Everybody, I see on TV, because I watch ads all the time, I see ads for smart beds now. Oh, it's too cold on my side. I like it hot. Oh, you're snoring too loud. I don't like it. So get your own friggin' bed. Why do people sleep together anyway? On the chance you might get laid at some point? All these poor schmucks probably try to get it on in the morning. The wife pushes them away. So you're better off just sleeping alone. Make a date if you want to, get it on. Actually, they talk about you get a $800 rebate. I never even spent $800, I don't think, on a car, let alone a bed. The best night's sleep I ever had was riding over here in a boxcar. And now, I just heard that, and I don't know why I get these news feeds. I mean, it's in the regular news. I guess I remember when Walter Cronkite was on for a half hour. He had a half hour of national news. Well, you had 15 minutes of national news, 15 minutes of local news, the weather, and sports, and that was it. Now you have like 20 different streams from people who are probably living in their mother's basement, putting out the most ridiculous crap. And it seems like politics has become the main media. So the newsfeed, the big headline was that they did a lot of testing. And who the hell pays for these tests anyway? It turns out that a uterus can smell sperm. How they came to this conclusion, I don't know. Well, although I think one of them did have a pet uterus. So maybe he was feeding it sperm. I gotta get me a pet uterus. I think they smell fear also, but I am not sure about that. They'll probably have to do a test on that. And also, and I don't know how they came up with this test. They had men smell over 100 vulvas to see if they could tell when a woman was fertile. So it didn't work out too well for the men. They probably should have used dogs. And I actually tried bringing one of my dogs to the nudist colony once, and they said I had to put a sock on his nose. And now I see an ad for Doctronic, an artificial intelligence doctor. Kind of goes along with TikTok. So then you could have a dick doc. You can put your life in the hands of some moron who created artificial intelligence. Who the hell creates this stuff anyway? does artificial intelligence create itself? That would be really dangerous. Although probably not as dangerous as humans programming it. And now we have the social media trials going on. Some woman is suing all the big social media companies, Facebook, TikTok, you name it, because they're addicted to it. Is there anything stupider than that? But now they're saying she's going to win. It reminds me of the trials from the 80s when they said that heavy metal was destroying the youth of America, along with Beavis and Butthead. Now all you got to do is, I guess, watch the halftime show with Bad Bunny, which seemed to be the most important thing in the news. Is Bad Bunny going to say something naughty in Spanish? I don't know. And even if he did, who's going to understand it anyway? Although I did learn a little Spanish profanity. And I also just found out that Generation Z drivers are afraid of driving. It's too confusing and too dangerous. Yeah, maybe it would be less confusing if it was just a car and you're not driving in your living room. Now they have a 12-inch TV to watch. They have the cars that park themselves, cars that drive themselves, cars with better stereos than they probably have in their house. So I think I'm more afraid of them driving mindlessly around, singing and dancing inside the car. I learned to drive in a car when I was 14 and stole my mother's Ford Falcon with a 3-speed stick shift on the column. And I still know how to parallel park. So I went over to a friend's house today for to hit on his wife for St. Valentine's Day. I'm looking around. I think I have a dog hair in my mouth. I wonder how that was my own hair. But anyway, I got to the guy's house and I said, what the hell is going on here? I said, what, do you have a mouse problem? So I see these mouse traps all over the place. And they have IOUs in them. And he says, what do you think? I can afford real cheese? Haven't you heard about the economy, stupid? Did you ever scream happy VD? I was pretty happy once when I did find out that I had it. Probably gave it to a few people. Anyway, say I spread the disease. So, and speaking of which, I know probably for Valentine's Day, a lot of guys probably had to pick up hookers because they couldn't afford to take their girlfriend out. Or maybe they're just really bad looking or smell bad, or I don't know. Me personally, I like an older hooker because you get the choice of teeth or no teeth. And now I'm also learning a lot of new words these days. Like, what the hell is mukbanging? Some woman asked me to go over to her house and do some mukbanging on her stream. I was mistaken about knowing what it was. Anyway, I ended up eating a lot of clams. So I am not sure about the concept of banging a muck. And also in my quest to watch commercials all the time, I see this ad for Plexiderm, where you're rubbing some sort of cancerous crap under your eyes so you don't have bags under your eyes. So there's this hot little blonde saying, and we were so excited. And here's a time lapse. I rubbed this on my father's eyes. Oh, we were so excited. She must have a pretty dull life. So, anyway, I think we are ready for music. Everybody ready to choke themselves? I guess so. That means I don't have to talk about the lip fill situation. I tried that somewhere else because they said it would make it stiff and hard. All right, folks, get ready to choke yourself. What? Yeah. Anyway, I see that Moon Sugar with many names has a birthday coming up. So, here's what I am going to give her. I am going to induct her into the Church of Satan. This is a real Church of Satan card. No, there are not enough choking emotes on Twitch. And if you really want to choke yourself right, you need this. So, turns out that a woman's hoo-ha, I guess, is as acid as a tomato. So, now I know where I'm gonna have my next Bloody Mary. A little lime juice and stalk of celery inserted, maybe to stir it. A little vodka and you're good to go. You'll have a really high acidic Bloody Mary. And of course it has a lot of vitamins. It has lycopene, which is a very strong antioxidant. So also I've been wondering, what back in the 70s, I think they discovered something called G-spot. What the hell is that? Does anybody ever experience anything with that? If you have, let me know. And when I was coming down here today, a friend of mine, we were just chit-chatting, and I said, yeah, I took my wife to the Caribbean. He said, Jamaica? I said, no, she really did want to go. He said, gee, I wish I could afford to go to the Caribbean. He said, why not? You and your wife work 15 hours a day. You should have enough money for that. You could shine shoes for a living, too. So, he said, well, I can't afford it. I said, well, why not? He said, haven't you heard about the economy, stupid? I said, very funny. Well, you know what? I saw your wife and some guy in her car going into a hotel. I said, that's weird. My wife is here with me. He says, oh, I forgot. She loaned her car to your wife. And has everybody had enough of this thing about Nancy Guthrie? Who the hell is she? I thought she was maybe related to Arlo Guthrie. I don't know. But is she the most important person in the world? It's on the news every night, although I think it's going away now. So $1 million reward, I would turn in my mother to get $1 million. So there's something fishy about that. I have a feeling she ranks in there with all these people who said, yeah, two black guys stole my car with the kid in it and pushed it into the river. Oh no, I'm the one who actually pushed it in the river in the end and killed my kids because I was having an affair. But she deceived the public for months. And now Cheryl James. Anybody remember her? She was from Salt and Pecker. I'm not sure. I never got the hang of that. Anyway, she says that the music industry is controlled by Satanists. Wow, that's big news. Is that the worst thing that could ever happen? So, and she is somebody we need to listen to, along with all the other washed-up political experts. And now, over in Afghanistan, they are burning up all the musical instruments. Actually, the instruments they're burning up, I have no idea what they are, but it might be a good thing. They should try that over here. It might make everything sound better. So, also, a climatologist expert on CNN said that because of global warming, people have not been able to ice skate on Central Park Pond. So, I said, I don't know, this is strange. I'm going to have to test this out. So I went up to New York to Central Park with my one of my 500-pound friends and walked out on the ice, and there were like 100 people ice skating. So I think this was another thing to strike fear into the hearts of people that were burning up. Anyway, initially, more experts said that in 23 billion years, the sun is going to burn out. Oh, they made a mistake. It's only going to be 15 billion years. So you got that to worry about. And I went to the store the other day, and all I wanted to do was bag some groceries at the self-checkout. So back in the day, it used to be paper or plastic. So now it's just paper. So now you got to do that thing with the bag. I don't know if anybody's even old enough to remember. You would go like that, and the bag would pop open, and you'd put your groceries in. So now I'm wondering, the things don't even have damn handles on it. So now I got to carry these bags around like some sort of delivery boy from the 30s, and the bags break, and everything falls out of them. So we got that going for us also, and whenever I go to the store now, if I see paper straws, I knock them on the ground and step on them because I'm saving the planet. And also, I've been wondering, I went across the bridge the other day, and it said that the weight limit was 5,000 pounds. So I'm thinking, okay, so if there's a truck in front of me that weighs 5,000 pounds, and another truck gets in back of me, and it weighs 5,000 pounds also. How is that going to work out? I don't know. It's like the thing with fat people at the airport. You know, your bag is 1 pound overweight. You have to pay extra for it. And meanwhile, behind you, there's some 400-pound guy. And I don't think they charge them extra. I don't know. I don't fly. I don't trust them. You know, at least if I'm on the ground, if the motor on my car burns out, I'm stuck on the side of the road for a while. But if I'm on a plane and the motor burns out, I'm falling 30,000 feet. So I think I'm sticking on the ground. I don't like water either. I don't like going in the ocean. I don't like nothing fun about it. I almost drowned in a riptide once. And has everybody enjoyed the Winter Olympics? How many damn Olympics do they have? I don't know. But anyway, what the hell is curling? I thought that had something to do with hair. I went to beautician school people's hair in finger waves, which they haven't had since the 20s. And spit curls, anybody want a spit curl? I can gladly do one for you. So, I don't know what it is. I accidentally turned it on the other day, and I see these people pushing some sort of bizarre-looking rock or something. I don't know. And there's a bunch of people in front of it with brooms. I don't get it. I don't understand that sport. If anybody understands it, they can explain it to me. So, I see that Jason is on the stream. That is really good. He's doing something constructive with your time, because there's nothing more constructive than what we're doing here. And now, also, I'm reminiscing about my youth when a doctor would make a house call for $3. He would come with a little black bag full of God knows what. Well, back in my day, it was like Black Beauties and phenobarbital and a big needle that we had to boil in a pot on our stove that we had to light with a match. But I really didn't like needles in those days, especially those really big ones. So I hid in my pantry. Is there such a thing anymore as a pantry? I don't know. Anyway, I hid under a bunch of coats, and I really had to piss. So I took this bronze urn that happened to be in this pantry. So I used that to relieve myself. But, back in the day, the guy would come. He would come right to your house. I don't think that even happens under any circumstances anymore unless you're dead. Or maybe an EMT might come. I don't know. And now they're saying that because of technology, this is from another expert, mind you, that kids who are so involved with technology and on their iPhone are unable to sit in a chair without falling off. I am not sure how they tested that out, but I would be interested to see that. So I'm not sure about this whole St. Patrick's thing. First of all, he's not even Irish. He's from England. And his real name is Maywin Suckett. So, I guess that wouldn't play out too well if we were having a St. Suckett Day. And this thing about snakes, there were never any snakes in Ireland. There were no reptiles at all, so I'm not sure where that came from. But he did have a Old Norse name, Paldrog, which meant toad expeller. So I guess maybe that's where that came from. And what the hell is a patron saint? Is that like a saint that goes around and buys stuff? How come more people pray to these alleged saints than to Jesus or even to God? My grandmother was an old school Italian, and you lose something, you pray to St. Anthony. And how many people have crashed their car with the St. Christopher medal or whatever on the dashboard? So I'm not sure about any of this stuff. Actually, my favorite patron saint is St. Rocco, the patron saint of dogs. And so, I first of all have to give a shout out to Leon, the perpetually petulant paramour. And I'm glad to see that Joy Evil is back. She was conspicuous in her absence last show. And everybody out there who appreciates my humor. Also, getting back to St. Patrick's and his comings and goings, one of the rituals for St. Patrick, or whoever he is, to pledge allegiance to your king was nipple sucking. So let's make good on that for this holiday. And of course, shout out to Fozzie, Afra, and I guess a newcomer, Amanda. And so now, as if we didn't have enough to worry about, it is predicted, well, of course, in 13 billion years, the sun is going to burn out. But now, they predict on September 14th, 2184, a giant asteroid is going to hit the planet Earth, and we're all going to die. Or, I'm not sure if it was an asteroid or a hemorrhoid. I'm not sure. And also, we now have to fear there is panty liner abuse going on because they are using flex foam liners. So I use that stuff to caulk my windows. So I'm not sure how this is working out, but they're saying that your vagina can't be happy with this flex foam stuff because it can't breathe, and your vagina is unhappy. So I have been going around and asking women, is your vagina happy? And I said, well, I have something here that could maybe make it a little happier. And after getting punched in the face a few times, I said I just meant like a regular panty liner with no flex foam. So, but I'm giving up on that for now. So, also, I don't know why I keep getting all this news. There is a guy who has a micro penis challenge. He says he has the smallest one in the world. It is the size of a pinky nail. 0.38 inches erect. I think there's like some kind of stuff going on in the world that might be more important than this, but I'm not sure. This is probably more important than anything. And maybe it ties into the male loneliness epidemic. Why are there so many lonely men? I can't even begin to assess that situation. But maybe it's the economy. I don't know. Actually, a top economist and expert says that because of the economy being bad, it's good. It's good for the people. And there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I saw a light in a tunnel. Fortunately, there were no trains coming through it. But I did see a light. So I went walking through the tunnel and I went up to the where I thought the light was. And there was a guy with a flashlight. I go, what the hell are you doing? He goes, I'm looking for something to eat. I'm looking for some food. Haven't you heard about the economy, stupid? So, I hope everybody has a designated drunk. Somebody who, if you're going out to a bar or something, you bring along a guy who you know can drive when he's drunk. Or if you're sitting at home because you couldn't find a date or something, or nobody wants to be around you, but you have a few friends over and you have a designated drunk, some guy who doesn't normally drink, and you get him to drink so much that he pukes up green bile all over your Persian carpet. And speaking of carpets, did everybody enjoy the Oscars? Were they on? I don't know. Anyway, down in the dunghole, we have the Irvings. And to qualify or pre-qualify to get into the contest, you have to have a movie with a giant budget that nobody went to see or nobody even heard of. And the director was blind. And of course, it lost tons of money at the box office. And now they have some sort of a movie, a love story for Gen Z about John F. Kennedy Jr. and his Jacqueline Bisset. Oh, they're so in love. Oh, they love each other. But in actuality, she hated him. And she hated all the publicity and all the photographers chasing after him. And actually, people are speculating that she may have had something to do with that poor fool's plane crashing. Of course, I think he was also taking Percocets for some sort of ridiculous pain ailment. And speaking of pain ailments, for Moon, some guy owed me money a while ago and he wouldn't pay up, so I cut his big toe off. And I've had it in my freezer, so maybe I'm thinking about I could mail it to Moon and she could do a toe transplant, but we'll see how that works out. Also, in my news stream, after a 51-year study, they found out that if your ring finger is shorter than your index finger, you're gay. I guess they should have stayed in. They also came up with the fact that bisexuals do have hands. So, in spite of everything that's going on in the world, that's what I'm getting on my news streams. So, anyway, I hope everybody's having a good time. And special kudos to Leah again for pulling my CD out of her car before it got crushed. I'm not sure what the circumstances of that were, but good luck with that. A happy Easter to everybody. I'm not really sure about these religious holidays. I'm not sure how they work out. I mean, Passover, God sent down 10 plagues. Wouldn't one have been enough? I'm wondering why God is so pissed about everything. You know, let's not forget Noah's Ark. He was running for office a short while ago, actually. And this Passover thing, killing all the Egyptians' kids or something, I'm not sure about that. And the poor lambs that were sacrificed to people to avoid being killed also, I'm not sure about that. And let's not forget sodomy and gonorrhea with God killed a bunch of people with that also. And I'm not sure about Easter either. Like, they have this thing called Maundy Thursday, which I guess is tomorrow. I have no idea what that means. And then Good Friday, I'm not so sure what was good about that. I'm also not sure if what was God thinking when he had his own son nailed to a piece of wood. I'm not sure about that. So now we have a lot of new things to worry about, such as, I know in the prior broadcast I've said that the sun's going to burn out in 24 billion years, and then 2 billion years the Earth will be no more, and now a giant asteroid coming in 2024, and now we got to move that up a little bit. An expert for the Meteorological Society says that in 3 years, let me make that the Earth is going to be on fire and there will be no humanity left. So, that's from an expert, so how could you not believe it? Also, only 80% of the ocean has been unexplored. So how do they come up with this theory that the ocean is so full of plastic that all the fish are getting stuck in plastic bottles and the six-pack containers? I'm not sure about that either, but I'll go with it. And now we get cancer from toilet paper. So we got that going for us also. I don't know what the alternative... Well, I know we all have bidets here in the dung hole. And speaking of which, I know people are unhappy that the goblins destroyed Cacklekeep. But it was something we had to do. My intelligence community said that the wizards were making angel food cake without separating the egg yolks from the egg whites. So we simply can't have that. Nobody wants to eat an angel food cake with egg yolk in it. So we had to destroy Cacklekeep. But Carl and I have been in negotiations to rebuild it by raising tax money on the goblins. But, April Fools, that's not going to happen. Cacklekeep is gone. I hope everybody's having a good time celebrating April Fool's Day. I hope everybody knows a few good jokes to pull on people that might hurt them. And now, another new disease called Alice in Wonderland syndrome, where people look at things and they're either bigger or smaller. So I'm sure they put a lot of time and effort and money into studying this. It's very important. Of course, now I look for women who have this disease who would look at me as being bigger than I actually am. And now, also, there is a new trend called beesing, where you put Burt's Beeswax on your upper eyelid, and wow, it's a thrill. And that might go along with the other new problem called lightning bum, where you get extreme pain in your butthole. I'm trying to only use childish euphemisms for genital parts because I have to protect the children. And now they have, so they won the internet lawsuit. People are addicted to it, and the children might see pornography on it. Oh, yeah, right. And now, also, I get all this news because I don't get regular news anymore. I only get, I think, news from the Genitalia Network. And get this, folks. There is a new thing where older women's coochie curtains are shrinking. And it's causing panic and confusion. But don't worry too much about that because actually I thought that back in the day that they were having their meat curtains shaved off. So now they're worried that they're shrinking. So sorry about all this bad news. And it turns out that there's also another problem going on with that little thing women have. I don't want to say what it is. Anyway, they're saying that they have finally mapped out the whole area of it, like the genetic makeup of it. So now they have a better knowledge of it. And back in the 15th century, they actually would say that if a guy could find the woman's, that thing, that they would be deemed to be witches. So, I've been going up to women, saying, I'm on a witch hunt. Would you mind if I could see if I could find your, So I got tired of getting punched in the face for that. And now we also have the new big thing, the space shuttle. And I read it's going to moon. I'm not sure. Is it going to the actual moon or is it going to moon? It's its own problem. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's a really great thing. 50 years ago, I remember when Sputnik shot a dog into space, and that was the start of the space race in the 50s. Then they shot up Alan Shepard, and then John Glenn. I went to the ticker tape parade down Broadway for John Glenn. So, and then I remember back in '69, I was at Slugs with Elvin Jones, and they had a big thing. People landed on the moon. And for some strange reason, Elvin Jones said, I hope they don't run out of oxygen up there. Now, people still think that the moon landing was a hoax. I'm not sure what to make of that. Also, I just saw a thing on TV, a very quick commercial on some major network about Easter, and I happened to see the name Leah go by. I had to investigate that a little bit more. It turns out that in the Bible, Rachel and Leah had like some sort of discrepancy going on. And God opened Leah's uterus. I'm not sure how he did that. But, and then she had 8 children. But the feud with Rachel still continued, but I don't know anything about that stuff. Now it turns out that Gen Z, who the hell is Gen Z anyway? I'm not sure, like I only remember by millennials and Gen X and Gen Z. But it turns out that BAE, Bay, I wonder about that myself. What the hell does that mean? I don't understand. Or boo, I don't understand that. Or num. And the word they hate the worst is Riz. But I got Riz, man. And I also see, like one drug commercial after another. I keep bringing this up because I can't believe it's happening. And you take an antidepressant and you get uncontrollable muscle movement. So they give you another drug that also gives you uncontrollable muscle movement. So I am hoping I don't run into one of these people with the uncontrollable muscle movements and unusual urges if they're carrying a knife. And I also wonder about the Food Network. Everybody's going to be a gourmet chef. These gourmet chefs throw a bunch of crap together and say, you're going to like this. That's just crap. People, oh, wow, I got to try that. Yeah, right. And also, we will be playing at the Ren Fair. If anybody in the area wants to come to it. Oh, is that, it's sold out? I'm not, I've just been informed by reliable sources. I also just saw a thing on TV on a game show. I'm old, I watched The Price is Right, okay? They had a washer and dryer with AI, the intelligence, friggin' close to $4,000. Back in my day, you had a friggin' washboard, a scrub board, and you would rub the clothes on it. And then they had a thing with a crank on it, and you would put the clothes through it and then wring the water out of it. Then you go put it on a clothesline. But I guess that shows how old I am. Actually, I looked in the mirror the other day, and I saw I'm getting kind of wrinkly. So I had to make a decision. Should I either get a dangerous neurotoxin injected into my head, or should I go the clavicular route and hammer my face to look more masculine? But we'll see how that works out. And in celebration of 420, I am wearing my Take Me to Your Dealer shirt. Anyway, I hope everybody is smoking something. Are people still smoking angel dust these days? Whatever happened to good chunks of hash? I think it's advanced beyond my elderly knowledge. One time I smoked angel dust with my mother and my wife, and we went to see The Exorcist and Jaws both on the same day. When we got to the theater, it was so dark and we were so high, we ended up sitting on people. We couldn't even find a place to sit. I'm driving a Eldorado convertible, and the steering wheel felt like rubber. You could barely walk because your legs felt like rubber. But, and we used to know these guys from a group called Malicious Onslaught. I'm pretty sure nobody here would remember them. And they both smoked a lot of angel dust, and one of them hung himself. So I got to give a couple of shout-outs to Leah Leonme, the scintillating seductress of the sinless, Feral Fox, Mook, Afra, Vegas, Owl, and happy anniversary of sorts to Joy Evil. Hopefully, well, I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing you at Colicon. And I can actually pick you up in my new vehicle at the airport this time, and you won't have to be lugging a bag down the dreary streets of Richmond. Which, by the way, now there's a friggin' freeze warning. Again. 2 days ago, it was so hot, poor Carl passed out on the on the Ren Fair stage. 95 degrees, 96 degrees now. Last night, 20-something. So I guess that's climate change. Anyway, in the midst of all my genital news updates. I got a news update saying that John Bonham's drum solo on Moby Dick is the greatest drum solo ever. And this was by several media outlets, so it must be true. Although, in my humble goblin opinion, the best drummer out there, well, there really can't be one great person or one great movie, one great anything. I mean, there's too many of them. Anyway, I feel that Merchant is one of the great drummers, as well as Carl being one of the great guitarists and composers. How many people can be so prolific of writing and writing since he was like 9 years old? And I mean, I've seen every genre has their own special people that are really great at something. I mean, I saw Rush bootleg them so many times, and I thought, I'm not crazy about Neil Peart being so overhyped, but I thought he was a really good drummer. Certainly better than John Bonham, who they said, he has his roots in big band jazz. Maybe they never saw. I don't really like Buddy Rich either, but I mean, he was a big band showman, more of a drummer, but still, give me a break. And jazz drummers, or even like Thomas Lang, anybody remember him? Dennis Chambers, Santana's drummer, and a plethora of unknown jazz drummers who were just incredible, like Clifford Jarvis. If you want to see a good drum solo, go to Sun Ra, Take the A Train on YouTube. And anyway, now I'm getting a lot of updates on Clavicular, who OD'd on his podcast. Fortunately, he survived. And he thinks that hitting yourself in the face with a hammer is going to make you more manly. If I could run into him, I could definitely make his face look much more manly. Or is it manlier? I don't know. I would have to have a grammar check on that. And now, people are injecting themselves with cow steroids, what they give cows before they go to slaughter, so they can look more manly, more muscular. And back in the day, they thought He-Man was a bad role model. Now you have this idiot hammering his face. So where are we now? And over in Japan, for the Wagyu beef, they massage the cows and give them beer, but then they slaughter them anyway. So would you rather be injected with steroids, which, by the way, you're eating meat with have these steroids in them. So maybe there's no point in even injecting yourself with steroids, just eat the cow. And now, I don't know, and now Barbie was a bad role model. I think they have a new Barbie coming out, the Ozempic Barbie, which is going to have a sagging face and jellyfish-like body. And now they're saying that they have to keep the evil internet away from teens. We gotta think of the children. Is a teenager a child? I mean, at what point does your brain develop? Well, I guess there are people out there who could tell me. I would probably be pissed off at me for saying that. I think when I was 16, okay, yeah, I made some bad decisions, but I am not sure if my brain is developed yet. So if you want to keep the evil internet away from the teens, all you got to do is turn on the nightly news or the daily news. And you can find out about vaginal odor, vaginal dryness, and how to support your vagina, and you need probiotics for it to keep it balanced. So I'm not sure about any of this, but I have gone around with a hydrometer to check out women's vaginal dryness, but I just keep getting punched in the face. I mean, it sort of, makes up for clavicular's theory, and it's a lot easier anyway. And actually, when I think I was in 5th grade, I went to a religious school, believe it or not, and one of the teachers there was a religious nut who used to say, I'm praying that we have atomic warfare so we can all die and go to heaven. So she sees me chewing gum before lunch, and she goes, "How dare you eat something before Grace?" I said, "Where's Grace? Who's Grace? Who are you talking about?" So she hit me in the face. So I took a knife that I used to carry, and put a cut under my eye. I called my parents and said this woman punched me and cut my face. They went there and tore a new butthole to the principal of the school. So I kind of got even on that. And now, I also, on my general news updates, found out that the one thing that turns women off completely is if they say, "Harder, don't stop." So, I'm not sure about that, but I also got a newsletter about genital shrinkage in men. So, I'm not sure about what's going on with any of this. And then I just saw an ad that said, "Your dreams start with dicks." I guess, I don't know if it's a national sporting goods chain, but it is a store called Dick's. But I am not sure if my dreams start with that. Dicks. And then I just saw an ad. I love these ads. I like the ads better than the regular TV programming. A quiz with balls. So I went around and thought I would check in with some women again. I'm getting tired. Well, I'm not getting tired of getting punched in the face. It's kind of a thrill, kind of a turn on, you know. I think in Japan they pay hookers to do that. So anyway, I've been going up to women and saying, "How would you like to take a quiz with balls?" So I dropped my pants and started asking them puzzling questions and trivia. But all they do, well, sometimes I get kicked in the balls. But that put an end to my quizzing. And now I also see on TV, and I couldn't believe it, they use red liquid in maxi pads now. I'm shocked. And I see that they have flex foam in the maxi pads. Going, flex foam. I'm installing some new windows in my house, so I actually use that instead of caulking. And it worked out kind of well. And over in Pakistan, they have outlawed maxi rags. I'm not sure, because they're using it to heal the wounds of their enemies. So I'm not sure what's going on in the world anymore. Now I read a thing in my genital news updates about a woman that's having a sperm donor shower. I went to that, but I couldn't contend with the other sperm showers. I didn't have enough. And now, also, well, I see one ad after another. for fat people taking all these drugs with horrible side effects. And initially the media said that it was good being fat. But then I think the pharmaceutical company said, hey man, we're not making any money with people getting fat. That's like way too easy. All you gotta do is eat a lot, be lazy. So now we have to make some money. Because we're not making any money off of people getting fat. And what happened to Lizzo? She was so talented, so fat, such a wonder. So now the media is selling weight loss drugs to everybody who is told it's good to be fat. So anyway, and now they're saying that kids nowadays have no skills. They don't know how to do anything because they're on the damn phone all the time. And old people have exploding head syndrome because they're so pissed off about everything. I'm pissed off about everything. I hate these youngsters, these whippersnappers. So, I mean, you can learn anything from a damn phone. If I went to my mother and said, do you happen to know, my mother's dead by the way, would you happen to know how to put a overflow tank into my 2005 Lincoln LS? She would probably hit me. But all I gotta do is look it up on my phone. I can learn anything. So old people, stop complaining. And now they're talking about the effects. All of a sudden now, after reefer madness, pot was good. You could buy pot in a magazine back in the day, and pot was good for you. Then all of a sudden, Rupert Murdoch found out that they were using hemp to make paper. So he got pissed off about that and made the movies like Reefer Madness. Now reefer is bad for you. It's a class 1 drug. But now they have drugs with all the side effects, or you go into a coma, heart attack, fainting, shitting, pissing yourself, fainting while you're driving, don't operate heavy machinery. I think that might mean a car. So now, what would you rather have? Some pothead driving around going, yeah, man, that's cool. As opposed to some old person freaking passing out while they're driving. Anyway, you'll have to excuse me if I'm coughing a lot and I might pass out. I was mowing the lawn the other day. It's not much of a lawn anymore, it's just dust. We've been in severe drought here, I think, for 3 months. I think I covered every car in the neighborhood with dust. And I think I inhaled a couple of pounds of it also. So in order to feel better, I drank some, well, I thought it was a decongestion, but it was ZzzQuil and some vodka. That makes a very good drink, by the way. And now that they're saying that acid and psychedelics are good for your mental health, I took some acid. So actually, here I am, sitting in the street. I was there for a pretty long time, and finally a cop pulls up and says, sir, what are you doing standing here or sitting here? I said, I'm waiting for the stop sign to turn green. And now, I see in the paper, well, it's not the paper anymore, it's a phone, I guess, a computer phone that has more knowledge than I would ever have. It's nice having like a backup brain. So, I read this article. For some reason, I'm getting all these things about genital awareness. And there was a woman in Australia And, thank you, TGA Reigns, for calling me a bloke. I see you're picking up the dialect. And wish you a happy birthday again. By the way, everybody, TJ had his birthday. So, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. So anyway, this woman says that she's now going to practice free bleeding, which, I guess she has to go around. I guess she doesn't want her a maxi pad or burlap or anything. So she is going to put plastic on all her furniture. I thought she was Italian, not Australian. Actually, a friend of mine who was Italian, we lived in a very diverse neighborhood with Italians, Greeks, Polish, Germans, you name it. So she puts plastic on all the furniture, and she's going to put red sheets on her bed with a duvet. What the hell is a duvet? I still don't understand what it is, what's the purpose of it. I guess somebody could tell me if, and maybe a Qualcomm. So she's going through all this trouble so she can bleed all over everything. And I am not sure what the purpose of that is. I mean, what if we had... I don't like to use profanity because there might be somebody under 18 in the audience. Oh, and by the way, a shout out to Cackle 60, my favorite member of the Lost Tribe. And so wouldn't it be easier to just like maybe wear a maxi pad? I don't know. She's going to bleed all everything. And now, what if you wanted to piss all over everything? Free pissing. Or going in the other direction, maybe free pooping. How come toilets are always so low? How come they don't have urinals in bathrooms? Wouldn't that make more sense? Well, anyway, I'm coming up with a new invention where you would press a button and the toilet would come up electronically. So it would become a urinal. So look for that to be on the market soon. And this woman who's going to be free bleeding said she's also a body whisperer. I wonder what she's whispering. If anybody at Qualcomm wants me to whisper at their body, feel free to ask. Hey, what's this woman saying? You're too fat. Oh, you smell too bad. Well, anyway, that covers that. And now, there is an epidemic of penile shrinkage, especially in the UK. Wink, wink. Wonder why that's happening. Anyway, I'm going to have my tape measure at Qualcomm if anybody wants to compete in that thing. And now, also, I get extremely important news about something called gooning. I'm sure, being that I'm old, I probably never heard of it before. I'm sure there's people out there who have heard of it. But you're supposed to shine your crown. That's actually the thing of a news site, the name of a news site. I shine my crown every day. But anyway, you're supposed to do that until you come to the point of, I'm not sure how I can delicately say this. Anyway, and then you can bask in the ecstasy of not actually coming. And some guy did it, I think, 60 times a day. And guess what? It wasn't good for his health. And now, also, I get a important news stream from something called the Mary Sue, that there is an epidemic also of ED. which I guess you can just guess what that means without me having to say it. Anyway, it turns out that people, these young men on TV, oh, I can't get it up. And they take it so much that they become immune to it. So now, it made a comeback. Penile implants. And it comes with a pump, which now gives new meaning when you hear Carl doing Pump It Up. You can just think of what that means. That's up to you. Also, they have another additional pump that'll squirt stuff out of it so it looks real. And it also comes in different flavors. So you got everything covered on that angle. I never thought I would see the day when these things made a comeback. Now I see a commercial with some woman breastfeeding a kid, I guess. I don't know if it's in public or what. And she goes, oh, my nipple hurts just as much as when you flew out of me like a greased up cannonball. Like, why are we seeing this stuff? I don't understand. I don't understand anything anymore. And now, I got an invitation to a party the other night, and I went in the room, and there was no sound at all. There were just people dancing around. I go, I say to the guy, what the hell is going on? He's going, I just won a quiet disco set. Wow, that's pretty impressive. How come you can't have like music and stuff? He says, I had to move out of my upscale park house penthouse and move into this little crappy apartment where you're not allowed to make any noise. Haven't you heard about the economy, stupid? And now I see the media's favorite Tiger Woods gets arrested once again for being drunk and being on prescription drugs because it's okay. A doctor prescribed it to me. That's what everybody said. That's what Elvis said. He took, what, 60 codeines in one night? So, anyway, next time I get picked up for drunk driving, I'm going to say, this alcohol is given to me by a certified bartender. And actually, thinking of bartending, I am actually a bartender. I went to bartending school, but never actually worked at it. So anyway, I personally, at CallCon, I don't think Carl or Merchant actually even know this, I'm going to be serving my favorite drink, a Stinger. So keep that in mind. Actually, I started drinking these things because I saw it in a James Bond movie when I was 15. And I had some, believe it or not, with Jack Dempsey. And that's what I was drinking when I got arrested for drunk driving. I also, at the same time, got arrested for possession of marijuana, the evil drug. That was funny. They go, oh, I actually dropped the joint between my legs. That's what the problem was. I kind of swerved going around a curve. So I get out, and the cop says, I'm going to do the test. I go back and forth, touch your nose. And they go, well, you don't really look drunk, but we're going to give you a ticket anyway and arrest you because your eyes look glassy and your speech is slurred, which is totally untrue. And fortunately, the person that I bought pot from stole some out of my ounce. So rather than being charged with a felony, I was just like, given a court date. And of course, my lawyers, wink, wink, got me off of that. Oh, and shortly after that, actually the day after I got arrested, I was kind of hungover and I was using the bathroom and had my hand on the door jamb so I could keep myself upright. Merchant came along, I think he was about 3, and slammed the door. And I went to my wife and I said, I think my finger is effed up. She goes, no. The tip of your pinky is on the floor. Fortunately, it got sewn back on and I got a bunch of Tylenol for us to recover. That was not a bad experience, all things considered. And now, as if we didn't have enough to worry about, we must be afraid of coffee, water, salad, fruits, and veggies, because I guess they're all wrapped in plastic or something, I don't know. But you are now consuming 60,000 fragments of plastic a day. So you must steer clear of all these things, which pretty much covers everything. I mean, I go to the supermarket a lot, and everything is wrapped in plastic. I don't think people are really serious about that. But I do take plastic straws and throw them on the ground and stomp on them, because I must save the planet. And another strange thing that I got on my news was that stars are attending the science gala. There is something not quite right about that. If anybody wants to touch my staff, it'll only cost you $20. You might say, that seems a little stiff, but haven't you heard about the economy, stupid? It's nice that they finally gave me some place where I could put my beverage. A moose head. Are there any Canadians out there? No. Uh-oh. But anyway, for some reason, all I get on my news feed is stuff about people with sexual problems. I mean, I know that there's like a war or something going on somewhere, paying $5, $6 for a gallon of gas. I don't know about that stuff. All I get is news about genitals. So, it's very hard to stay in that trend without getting into politics or anything that's going to be annoying to people or get them angry at me. But anyway, on the I have some good news. I'm going to get something done finally about this eye. Because on Monday, actually, I'm going for this. I was supposed to go on Friday, but I didn't want to miss Comic-Con. So I've been seeing a lot of spots in front of my eyes lately, and I told a friend of mine, I'm seeing spots. He said, did you see a doctor? I said, no, just spots. Laugh it up. I laughed when you came in. And I was walking my dog the other day, and you may have to think about this on your trip home. And I thought I was bitten by a wolf. I'm not sure. It may have been one of those dogs that's half wolf, half dog. So I went to the doctor and said, I think I've been bitten by a wolf. She said, where? I said, no, it's just a regular wolf. So now I hear that there is an epidemic of erectile dysfunction. So there's a pill for that. Now everything is generic. I saw a pill for something called Blue Chew. I thought it was dog food. But unfortunately not. So if it's guaranteed, it's double the strength of Sniffledil or Daffodil, whatever the hell it is. So you can get it right on it. 2 minutes of foreplay, a minute and a half of actual sex, and then you're still hard for 5 hours. What are you supposed to do about that? And people are having side effects of all these psychotropic drugs. They are having problems swallowing. And if you connect that with the erectile dysfunction epidemic, no wonder the population is going down. And if we don't have enough to worry about, solar energy is deemed to be somewhat of a fraud. And I can kind of vouch for that. I have a degree in solar energy. And now I'm seeing ads on TV for people who were duped into getting solar energy because they're so stupid that they have somebody talking them to putting solar panels on their roof for free. But then it ends up you're not really saving any money anyway. I had somebody come to my door the other day. He's yammering on about the benefits of solar energy. They're going to put panels on my roof for free. So I said, they're only 18% efficient. So he says, well, you know, I actually don't know that much about this stuff. And he's a representative of the company. He goes, I'm going to send somebody, a professional who knows about this. So who shows up at my door? Well, I can't really say without offending people. But it was a young girl. And when I told her what's going on with real solar energy, she said, okay, goodbye. Anyway, we do have to worry that the sun is going to burn out in 1 billion years. So what good is solar energy going to be then? Yes. And now, I just got a news flash about a new trend called ball maxing. Get this. Unless anybody out there heard of it, I mean, I thought that edging was a new thing, but apparently it's been around for a while. So I'm seeing an ad for Omnilux. You put this thing on your face. It looks like a high-tech mask from Friday the 13th. And so now people are getting together and, well, you know, I think you're really hot, but I need a pill in order to perform. And actually, there's an epidemic of that because these guys, young guys, 20, 30 years old, who need this pill so much that they're addicted to it and they get so used to it, it's failed. So I guess there is no sex in the city. And also, I got a news flash that oral sex is the same as a half hour of exercise. I am not sure who is performing it, but it seems like a good way to get exercise to me. And so the ball maxing thing, getting back to that, these guys think that women are very impressed by cantaloupe-sized balls. Anybody out there have any input on that? I'm not sure about that. So they're injecting their balls with saline solution to make them as big as cantaloupes. This is true. It must be true. I got it on the news. And if you can't believe the news and the internet, who can you believe? I do everything the internet tells me to do. But I draw the line at injecting my balls with saline solution. But maybe, being that Omnilux makes you smoother and firmer, I thought perhaps I would make one to put on my, I don't like to use any non-technical terms. So I like the Pepto-Bismol commercial where the guy's stomach he's out with his hot date. His stomach is grumbling. He's going, "Oh, you have an upset stomach?" He goes, "No, I just shit my pants." So she goes, "Oh, that's okay. Just put your diaper on and we're good to go." And now I also found out, strangely enough, and not related to any genitalia, I found out that we have 60% the same DNA as a banana. This is true. I am not a crook. But that might explain a lot for what's really going on. And not to delve into politics, I can't resist this, is that there seems to be some issue with a ballroom. Does Trump need more ballroom? I am not sure. And now there is an epidemic of micro penises. So I have my tape measure here. If anybody is interested to make sure that they are not micro. The limit is 3.9 inches erect. So if I have any volunteers for that, I will be happy to accommodate them. Dogs. And now, just getting through celebrating Mother's Day, all I see on the news is these people adopting kids or taking in foster kids and locking them in the basement, and they starve to death. I just read that some woman forced a kid to drink out of the toilet bowl, and guess what? He dead. I don't know if that's funny.
It is. It's very funny.
And with Father's Day coming up, I just read that an 11-year-old kid shot his father in the head a few times because he didn't want to go to school.
That's not funny.
Happy Father's Day. So, also, I am getting really tired of seeing these bumper stickers people have. You got to get like this close to read them. Meanwhile, you're probably going to rear-end the pretty idiot with all these bumper stickers, like 20 of them, with little fine print. Just like the commercials where you can get $50,000 worth of life insurance, even if you just got out of the hospital. And there's no questions asked, but if you can read the little tiny fine print, which I can't, it says that you have a 2-year waiting period, and it's not, if you're like a 12-year-old kid, you can get the insurance for less than $1 a day if you're 12 years old and in good health. But if you are an oldish type person, such as myself, and I called out of curiosity, it would probably cost me like $1,000 to get my $100,000 insurance policy. So that's not working out well. And all these things, we're sending you an extra value. It's valued at $79, but we're sending it for free. And it turns out that's just cheap crap. I went for it. I'm figuring I'll just buy this crap. You get 3 of them for the price of 1, so I'll resell them. But it turns out it was just cheap Chinese crap. Well, I can't say, I confess that this jacket I'm wearing came from China. These shoes I'm wearing came from China. Somebody just asked me if the shoes were supposed to look like fish. I guess. But the stuff that these kids, they have child labor in China. Oh, yeah, well, this is one of the better made jackets I ever had. And I've had Armani and Zegna suits and everything. And they weren't as nice as this. And speaking of fish, I was down on out on the boat the other day, and when I got home, I said to my wife, "What girlfriend?" Or just somebody off the street. I said, "How do you like to, do it?" She said, "Not tonight, dear. I have a haddock." So I said, "Well, how about just for the halibut?" And anyway, I just didn't want to flounder around, so I went back down to the pier and got a red snapper. So now I have harpies. So anyway, I think we're making progress with women's rights in Afghanistan. I hope this is not a touchy subject. They have child marriages over there. The fathers sell the girls who must be totally covered. They sell them to these rich Emirates or whatever the hell they are, and it's good to go. And they are not allowed to be educated past the 6th grade. And they must be virgins. But if they are totally covered, how do they know that? Well, anyway, I was coming down here today, and I guess he was homeless. I don't know who's homeless and who's not these days. Comes up to me and says, "Do you have $20 for a cup of coffee?" I said, "Coffee is only $7. He says, "Don't you want to join me?" And also, I was walking down the street, and another guy comes up to me asking me for money. I said, "I don't have any money, but I can give you some matter." He goes, "What's the matter?" I said, "Nothing. What's the matter with you?" Africa, you were great at the Gorgon 3. And hey, the Fozzie, that was quite a unique experience for me to be sitting around watching fighting on the TV. I have rarely done that in my life. Hang out with the guys. All I see now are ads for stinky vaginas on TV. And I try to keep my clean, at least on this side. I don't want to get thrown off because I had problems with Carl. But here's a woman holding a little pill. I'm going, what the hell do you do with that? Do you eat it? Do you stick it up somewhere? I don't know. But there seems to be an epidemic of it. And now, also, on my streams, my news streams, I mean, I know there's a bunch of stuff going on in the world, I don't know. Clavicular, who you got to take seriously. I mean, he was on Logan Paul's podcast. You can't believe that. Who are you going to believe? Anyway, a new thing. I could see this coming 20 miles up the road. Penis maxing. So, he is tying bags of groceries. And this is true, believe it or not. I know it's hard to believe. And he ties bags of groceries to his, I guess his wiener. And he's stretching it out. Maybe he needs it, I don't know. Maybe he's one of those like penis guys. actually there was a micro blue moon. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. And then for every action, there was a reaction. And I'm seeing now vagina maxing. I mean, if it was one thing, it would have to be the other thing. So they're steaming them and creaming them. And I don't know, I'm going to go to a restaurant and ask for a steamed vagina with a side order of creamed clitoris. And now it turns out all these people are getting Brazilian butt lifts. They stink, they smell funny, because you're not allowed to even sit on it after, I shouldn't know about this stuff actually, but I can't help it, they keep feeding it to me on my news stream. So anyway, the ultimate end, your ass is so big that you can't properly wipe it, so it smells bad. And speaking of which, I just found out that bananas are good for your colon. So I'm thinking, I wonder if they mean to eat it, to peel it, leave it peeled. But I figure, what the hell? I'm gonna shove it where the sun don't shine. So now, I'm starting to wonder why so many monkeys have been chasing me lately. Also, another thing on my news feed is that if you lose your virginity early in life, that you're going to be suffering later in life. You're not going to have a long lifespan. You're probably going to come down with a bunch of diseases. I don't have to worry about that. I am not ashamed to say I didn't lose my virginity until I was 22. So I'm good to go, hopefully. I like the way America is heading. And now, a new trend. Well, that's not a new trend. I mean, who hasn't done this? Couch surfing. You steal a car. Maybe you might take your parents' car or something. And I don't know where the hell you get a couch from, but you tie the couch to the back of the car, and you're surfing. It's really intelligent. And this kid, stupid-ass kid, he goes couch surfing. The legs break off the couch, the kid goes flying, lands on his face, and now his face, his spine, everything is deformed for life. But he got 3,000 views on Instagram, so he got that going for him. And then subway surfing. Now I thought this was over and done with. I remember this from 20 years ago. Now I got a thing on the news saying this really brilliant kid decided to go subway surfing across the Williamsburg Bridge. Now, and by the way, Sonny Rollins, who just died, used to take his horn up on the Williamsburg Bridge to practice. But not to worry, now we have idiots subway surfing. So the moron hits his head on a beam, and guess what? He dead. So, I'm wondering if they're ever going to come around with some brain maxing. I thought I would try it. I actually read a book by Friedrich Nietzsche. It's about 300 or 400 pages long, so after I got done reading it, I started hitting myself in the head until I got a little brain matter exposed. So, I got that going for me. And now, turns out that Gen 2 and millenniums, whatever the hell they are, think it's, well, actually, I have, since Gen X, that's all I know. I don't know about millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, X, Y, Z. I don't know what the hell is going on. Anyway, these people say it's okay to spank children, to discipline them. Oh, what a stupid idea. I think, oh, honey, you set the cat on fire. Well, you're fine. Take a time out for 5 minutes. I'm going to take your cell phone away. So, anyway, they got that going for them. Because I don't believe in corporal punishment or anything, but I also don't believe in giving a trophy to everybody no matter what they do. I went to the doctor the other day, and he says to me, "You're as sound as $1." I said, what are you nuts? I'm dying? Haven't you heard about the economy, stupid? So, anyway, I think that there seems to be an epidemic of, I guess I can't call it anything but child abuse. I get all this stuff on my stream also. Some woman had disabled kids that were unable to lift their heads. What does she do? I think I'll give them a bath and leave them in there by themselves. What happens? They dead. And some guy was playing a video game, and this kid disrupted him. Baby was crying too much, so the guy punched him to death. And another one, the guy kicked the kid out the window and into a dumpster. What's going on here? I don't get it. So anyway, I hope everybody's enjoying the hot weather. If one more person comes up to me and says, "Is it hot enough for you?" Yeah, it's fucking hot enough. It's too hot. It's hotter than a diseased hooker's hoo-ha. Speaking of which, and if I see one more commercial for vaginal odor, I'm gonna shoot my TV set. And now the new thing is vaginal comfort. And then I see an ad after that for maxi pads that for some reason turn into gel when I guess when they get some of that blue stuff on them. I'm not sure what that is. But in the realm of vaginal comfort, I have been going up to some women and saying, would you mind if I try to comfort your lady parts? And I go up to their, lower parts and say, would you like some chamomile tea? How about a massage? And all I do is get kicked in the nuts. So I kind of gave up on that. Everybody's got to deal with their own vaginal comfort. But I mean, how much more comfort do you need than something that turns into gel? Like I used to have a gel bed, and I really liked it. I used to go to the Comac Motor Inn where they had heart-shaped tubs and gel beds, and always had a good time there. They were very comfortable. And anyway, now there is the new, well, it's not that new anymore because of clavicular with his penis maxing. And he puts shopping bags, he hangs shopping bags on his wiener. And I'm going, this looks like a good idea. So once again, trying to be helpful, I go up to some women and say, would you like me to carry your bags? So I pull down my zipper, and geez, I get two gallons of milk. That's a tough one. I'm not sure how that works out. Anyway, once again, I get kicked in the nut, just trying to be helpful by carrying people's bags. And anyway, in the realm of that, in my realm to my quest to always further my education, I was watching a show on Houdini today, as a matter of fact, and it turns out that he felt like he was getting old. So he actually was going to, he consulted with somebody, some sort of surgeon, and he was going to have monkey balls sewed onto his balls to make him younger or to stop his aging process. But that didn't really work out too well. Well, somebody punched him in the stomach and he died anyway. But in the realm of that, why not have Clavicular come and hammer his balls? And now I see, once again in my quest for knowledge, that on one of my news streams, this is very important, that there are barnacles that emasculate crabs. So they're like eunuch crabs. I'm not sure what the point of that is or what the point is of them putting it on a news stream, but I guess it's as important as Travis Kelsey and Swift. I can't even think of her name. I think of Loretta Swit when I think of her. But she's dead anyway, I think. But that's very important. Oh, man. Like the biggest event in New York history. And Mommy Dami thinks it's a great thing for New York. And people are just, they can't get enough of it. Just like they can't get enough of soccer. I know there's people out there who like soccer, but I can't get into a sport where like the score is 0-0 or 1-0. I see Ki Aloha. No offense to you. I see you said something about the USA team with a 1-0 lead. I'm not sure about that. So now they say that in 1,700 years, the human race is going to be extinct. I thought originally they said 17,000 years. These are experts, scientists. And then they say that the sun is going to burn out in 2 billion years. I wish they would make up their mind. I'm trying to plan my next vacation. And apparently there are now a loneliness epidemic. So now there's all kinds of AI hookers on the internet. Sort of like, I don't know if anybody remembers Logan's Run, where they would have women on the circuit. I would actually, you could just press a button and pick which one you wanted. That's what we're coming to. And nothing is real anymore. Maybe that idiot who said that we're living in some sort of video game or some sort, I don't know what it is. But that's what we're coming to. And now we also have to worry about a screw worm. I actually thought that that was some sort of STD. Apparently not. I have no idea what it is, but I know it's not an STD. Now we have to worry about Ebola and a big red blob coming down the street. And in order to save the environment, they now say that brown eggs create more pollution than white eggs. I thought they were supposed to be healthy for you. I'm confused about everything these days. I wish people would make up their mind about what's good for me, what's bad for me. Coffee's good for you, coffee's bad for you. And they also say that brown chickens, which lay the brown eggs, are more violent than white chickens. I'm not going there. And now, apparently, there are a lot of new laws coming this way here in beloved Richmond. They're going to ban assault rifles. I'm pretty sure that all these teens with guns, that's what they're using. And I have a concealed carry permit. So now, if I want, I guess I can carry my AR-15 in my pants. Instead of somebody saying, is that a banana in your pants, or are you glad to see me? I could pull out my AR-15 and show them what I think. And now, they're gonna have mandatory driver education for anybody between the age of 18 and 24. But I think they had an amendment on it which included Chinese women. But, and now all kinds of car safety. I have airbags all over the place in my car and a seatbelt. Why not just make people wear helmets? And why don't they construct cars out of the same thing that NASCAR cars are made out of, with cages and neck braces and straps that hold you in? It seems like maybe the government's getting a little compulsive about telling everybody what to do and what they can't do. But anyway. And going back to somewhat a bit of my childhood, I did try to get into Oral Roberts University, but I didn't pass the oral test. Instead, I went to Anal Roberts, and I passed the anal exam with flying colors. And they wanted to put me on the football team as a tight end, but I really couldn't get into that. Now, whatever happened to, is there such a thing as anal maxing? I shudder to think where that might go. Whatever happened to anal bleaching? What was the point of that? There are many things I'm not sure of that I'm going to have to investigate. And now getting back to ads on TV, ads for funerals. You know, wow, for $6.75, I can get $50,000 worth of insurance, and there's no health questions asked. And by the way, I saw a hooker holding a sign like that on the street the other day. No medical exam, no questions asked. And unfortunately, there was a 2-year waiting period, but they don't tell you that in the funeral ads. They also, in very small print at the bottom, tell you that there actually is a 2-year waiting period. And for $6.75, if you're a 12-year-old female, I'm not sure why do females get cheaper insurance rates than men. Time will tell. And so, then bathroom ads, like what I see a thing, it says, this is what your old bathroom looks like. You're like, ooh, that's terrible. I'm going, that looks like my bathroom. It looks better than my bathroom. And they spin the thing around and show you some sort of magnificent shower thing, a walk-in shower. How are you supposed to take a bath in that? Another question I have for humanity. What is your tub telling you? My tub is telling me you're too fat, you're ugly, you smell. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be asking my tub any more questions. And then there's the ZQL ad. He can't fall asleep on Sunday. Why Sunday? Well, what does he have, a job or something? Does he have to get up on Monday? And I guess she takes a bottle of ZQL and hits him over the head with it. Now you're gonna get to sleep, schmuck. And I just saw a thing where a guy was supposed to drop his kid off at daycare, 18-month-old kid, but he forgot the kid was in the car, so he drove around with him in this blazing heat all day. And guess what? The kid is dead. I don't forget a bag of groceries in the backseat of my car. I don't understand what's going on. Another mother made the kid eat garbage because regular food was for the guests. Back in the day, we sort of had a thing like that, where you weren't allowed to eat the pie, you weren't allowed to eat any of the snacks, because it's being saved for guests. How often do people just drop by your house anymore? Not very often. In fact, not at all in my house. Well, sometimes a solicitor comes, but I have a sign that says no solicitor, so I have to chase him away or tell him, can't you read? Anyway, back in the day, people would show up at the door, they'd ring the doorbell, and let them in. Now let's have some pie, let's have some coffee. Now it's like, everybody run, get under the bed. I'm by the door with the shotgun, somebody's there. So, I don't know if anybody remembers the Jonestown massacre where for some reason all these people drank cyanide. I wonder, well, I think every religion is a cult, actually. You're supposed to be drinking the blood of Christ. I'm not sure about that. Eating crackers with it. Well, actually, that sounds good. I used to be an altar boy, and that was the first time I got really drunk drinking the Taylor 20 port. That was supposed to rebuild the cruets or whatever the hell you call them. And that's the first time I ever got really drunk. The priest was drunk all the time, but he never tried to molest me or anything, so I give him credit for that. And anyway, getting back to Jonestown, does anybody know why there are no jokes about Jonestown? Because the punchline is too long. And I just found out that Helen Keller was actually a communist because she would have conversations with Karl Marx in Braille. So I'm not sure about Helen Keller, but all I know is that she damaged her ears because she kept answering the iron instead of the phone. I must confess that I've been meaning to admit to this, that I was a man trapped in a woman's body, but then I was born. So, anyway, speaking of being born, I see all this stuff maybe because I clicked on one article about people abusing babies. I am not sure. Maybe back in the 50s, the fabulous 50s, maybe the family dynamic was a bit different. I mean, okay, you know, like it wasn't really like Leave It to Beaver, but you know, there was some hair pulling, slapping, and now all I see is people, I guess, having kids maybe to get welfare and Section 8 housing, but now I guess people say, okay, great, let's have a kid and we can get some benefits. But once we have the kid, we can bind his hands and feet and lock him in the closet and feed him dog food. Oh, wait a minute. Have you seen the price of dog food lately? So, we'll feed them human fecal matter. Or, I also saw another one where the father poured boiling water on the baby. I guess it's not funny, but what the hell is going on? I don't know. That's all I hear is people doing these horrific things to children now. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not gonna go there. But, and speaking of babies, I see a lot of seniors are leaking these days, and, well, this has been going on for a while, and they're wearing diapers. So now, Gen Z, I don't even know who the hell they are. Well, they're blaming boomers for all the problems in the world, so now they're not going to take care of their parents like it used to be. So now, instead of the babies are wearing diapers and the adults are wearing diapers. So I'm coming out with a line, maybe, of sex-oriented diapers. I mean, who the hell wants to crawl into bed with somebody and they just have a plain white diaper on? So I'm coming out with some diapers that have like sex-oriented designs on them. And now I see also, there's so much stuff about vaginas on the internet. Maybe because you click on one thing and that's all you get anymore. So now they're saying that Trump's neck looks like a vagina, so they want it covered up. Probably by a rope, I would imagine. But anyway, the newest thing I'm seeing is vaginal rejuvenation. So I'm wondering what is being rejuvenated. And they need lubrication now. I am not sure about KY jelly. Why does it need to be lubricated? I'm not sure about that. And now women are also, they're mad at men because they're saying, you know, the clit isn't hard to find. I'm not sure about that. Well, sometimes you gotta hunt around. I don't know. How come there's all this stuff about female private parts? I have never seen anything except for a guy with a bent willy. And now they portray it as a bent carrot. That's all I see. They don't say, well, a guy's schlong needs rehabilitation or rejuvenation, or it smells bad, or it needs to be lubricated. I think that a lot of guys were lubricating them when they first reached puberty. And I just read that a guy cut off his genitalia and set it on fire, and it caused a huge blaze in his neighbor's garage. So maybe that was a social media challenge. I'm not sure about that. But along with that comes, I don't know if this is new or not, the social media Benadryl challenge. And we must protect our children from this. If you take 20 Benadryls, you're gonna hallucinate. Couldn't you just take a hit of acid? I don't know. But anyway, some kid took, I think, 20 or some Benadryls, and guess what? He dead. And along with the leaky seniors, I was also thinking about starting a bedwetters.com site. So all the leaky people, no age limit, can get together and congregate and talk about their leaky lives. And I think that they are incontinent, or are they incompetent? I'm not sure. The English language is confusing to me these days. And now the new trend in fashion, instead of having your pants hanging down your ass, which used to be pretty convenient if you had to take a dump. So now they have pants that looks like they're open in the front. I don't know what's so new about that. I got arrested a couple of times for doing that at a elementary school. So, and also I just read that, well, this was a while ago, actually, about a month ago. A woman driving a Mercedes in Manhattan stepped out of her car and fell down a manhole and got steamed to death. I accidentally fell into a manhole once, but that did not work out too well. So, anyway, no good deed goes unpunished. Just like the very kind woman who housed a homeless guy, let him live in her basement. So what did he do to thank her? He beat her to death. I realize sometimes that I dwell too much on social media and the news. So maybe I'll start this off with a couple of jokes to cheer you up. What's 9 inches long, red, and causes women to scream? Anybody? A miscarriage. What's the difference between a baby and a deer? I never ran a deer over with my car. What's the difference between a baby and a baseball? I never threw a baseball through my neighbor's window. Anyway, moving along here. I was on my way to a Goblin event, the Gob Pride Parade, and my car had kind of broken down, which doesn't happen very often. I have a Gremlin. Anybody remember them? Everybody hated this car. I loved them. I thought it was a great car. I thought it was great looking, and I'll never give mine up. I don't think. So anyway, I figure maybe I'll take a bus. So now that in the inspiration of Mayor Gob Dami, we have free bus fare now. So I'm going to the bus stop and I see I guess I don't want to body shame anybody, so I'm going to have to call her Ozempically deprived. She was fat. So anyway, I go up to her and say, "When is it due?" She goes, "I'm not pregnant, you stupid effing moron." I said, "I was asking what time the bus was coming, bitch." So I got on the bus. I go, "This thing really smells bad." Maybe because it's free, that's where the underprivileged, unwashed masses go to shower and maybe use as a toilet, being that like libraries are pretty much closed these days. And speaking of which, I have to compliment Leah on her intelligence, because she said she was bringing drama, and I said, "You mean like Death of a Salesman?" And she said, "No, like After the Fall," which, judging by those stilettos, if you're trying to step on an ant or something, you might be falling a lot. But anyway, those are both plays by Arthur Miller. I used to drive Arthur Miller's daughter, Rebecca. She was married to Daniel Day-Lewis, who was a fun drunk to be with. But anyway, kudos to you, Leah, for having beauty and brains, I think. So now, I continue to see a lot of these things about babies being left in cars. Like the latest one was a guy, I guess he put the kid in the car and then figured he had to go to the gym for a few hours to keep that muscleless dad bod. I mean, that takes a lot of work. So anyway, he comes back to the car, and guess what? The kid is foaming at the mouth. He dead. So I think that they should have like really severe punishment. How the hell do you forget a kid in the car? I don't even forget a bag of groceries most of the time. Anyway, I just watched a movie on executions. It was pretty entertaining as well as informative. But one of the punishments was they would, I think this is according to Hammurabi's law, they would cut his genitals off, put them in his mouth, and then they would give pincers to the audience, and they would go up to him and pull pieces of his flesh off, piece by piece. That's the punishment they should have. What the hell, I mean, what do these guys go up to a 3-month-old baby and say, what do you think, you're better than me? You think you're better than me? Here's what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna punch you to death. But, I mean, I just saw another thing where a woman made the kid stand in the corner with his toes against the wall and handed him a loaded 9mm semi-automatic gun and said, oh, it was cocked, by the way. Maybe she shouldn't have been cocked. Anyway, she said, my life would be a lot better off without you. Why do these people have kids? I don't get it. Anyway, I finally got to the ribbon cutting of the new Goblin Museum, and we have displays for important goblins like Gob Dylan, Neil Gobstrong, of course Steve Gobbs with the monkey computer, Van Gob, and Gob Edison. What would we do without these people? So, anyway, I just saw on the news the other day that people are going to start taking teen-ternity vacations from work so they can be with their teen children. I mean, what kid, what teenager doesn't want his mother up his butt? So what are they going to do? Say, hey, Ma, can you go buy me some weed? Or how about, being that I'm underage, get me some Jack Daniels, please? And they're in the car with you driving, and there's a car like 100 yards away, and the mother says, no, don't make a left turn in front of that. I don't want anything to happen to you. So, I am not sure if that's going to work out well or not. But now they also have practice for getting on a school bus. I don't think I ever had to practice for that. And I never realized you're not supposed to run out in traffic when you get off the bus. Of course, I never took a school bus. I either rode my bicycle without a helmet, of course. People looked, well, if you wore a helmet when I was a kid, I can't say what people thought you were. So anyway, the news is very, very interesting. They have, they're telling you how to run your life. You can't think for yourself anymore. And now they have these funeral ads, which are the most ridiculously artificial intelligence crap I've ever seen in my life. It says, breaking news. You only have till 6 o'clock today to join this program. And all they're doing is a phishing thing where they gather your information and God knows what they do with it. And the people on the commercial, I just got accepted, I get $25,000. If you read the fine print, even if you got anything after you paid them, you would get $2,000 with the $6.85 a month. That's less than $1 a day. These women and men screaming, I can't believe I got accepted. They would accept you if you were dead. But there's no fool like an old fool. And there's a sucker born every minute. And the media knows it. So, in one of the commercials, my mother is 72 and she doesn't have anything. You're freaking 72 years old and you work your whole life and you don't have anything, you don't own anything, you don't own a house, you don't own a car, you're not insured for anything. So, and the car insurance ads, I'm a state representative. These are all sponsored by the state. But if you read the fine print, if you can, I can't. I gotta squint. I think I'm going blind from reading these things. Why I should be reading them, I have no idea. So now, I'm coming out with a new product, which is a toilet with a camera in it. Or maybe there's a little Japanese guy with a camera in it. Because so many people have no life. They put everything they friggin' do on the internet. Look, I got out of bed this morning. Wow. Look, I cooked a piece of fish. Well, that might work out well. It'll save time. So, anyway, I don't know if anybody knows it, but does anybody know what strap-on is spelled backwards? I guess by now somebody figured it out. It's no parts, which is very appropriate. Then I was at a party the other day, and there was a white kid with a black mother. The kid goes, "Why am I white and you're black?" And the mother says, "If you had seen what was going on at that party 10 years ago, you're lucky you're not barking." And now they are saying that squids are losing their intelligence. They're supposed to be the most intelligent thing on earth. So they're so intelligent, how come they're not driving cars and stuff? And now, this happens to me quite a bit lately. I'm getting old, you know. I got my birthday coming up in a couple of weeks. Instead of people saying, "Why did I come into this room?" people are now saying, "Why did I pick up this phone?" So anyway, make sure you celebrate Goblin Appreciation Month. You better appreciate your goblin. You probably have a goblin in your bed. You probably have a goblin in your car. So appreciate it.